everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to talk about Married to Medicine Season 5, Episode 15, which was the season finale, and it was titled In the Black. So the show opened with Toya and Eugene, and Toya was outside on the porch with the dog, and Eugene had then made him some espresso, and so he came out and sat on the porch with her, and the two of them get to talking about his use of the N-word during the DNA reveal party, and Eugene says that the women get too dramatic when arguing, and that was the whole point that he was trying to make. And so Toya lets him know that, women can be petty in their complaints, and then flips the conversation to Quad going overboard about the job situation and how disrespectful she thought Quad was being. And so then on the opposite side, we had a conversation where Heavenly goes to see Quad, and they get to talking about the party and everything. And so they pretty much go the same route as Toya and Eugene's conversation. So Heavenly suggests that Toya and Quad need to sit down and talk and try to restore and rekindle their friendship. And I don't even know how Toya and Quad went from the first or second episode where they were out riding around together in the car and everything, going to look at that Mercedes-Benz, to the fact that they're not even talking to each other. And I guess I wasn't paying that much attention during the season to see that they had grown apart in their friendship, because they always be arguing and fighting on the show. So you'll know the only people I ever think is really mad at each other is that everybody's mad at Mariah. Like, that's the only time I pay attention to people not being friends anymore. So Quad says that, she agrees that her and Toya do need to sit down and talk and rekindle their friendship, because she already losing a husband. She can't deal with losing a friend and not having that support system as she goes through the breakdown of her marriage. Back over at Toya and Eugene's house, Toya, she's on Eugene about everything that he eats and drinks, because she had talked about him and with the espresso and telling him that wasn't on his diet. And then he came in the house and was trying to eat something. She was complaining about that. So we learned that Dr. Jackie has put Eugene on a 500 calories per day diet. I'm thinking that man probably about to starve to death. And he says that he's already lost about 13 pounds. And Jackie tells him that on this diet, he could actually lose 25 pounds in 30 days. So I'm going to Miami at the end of the month. So I think I'm going to look up that diet that Eugene is on and try it for myself and see if I can lose them 25 pounds. So Eugene says that with the weight loss and the energy that he's gained by being on the diet, he has his sex drive back. So him and Toya, they gonna scoot on upstairs and get busy. So then later on, Eugene suggests that they can pay off their taxes early. So Toya's happy about that, and to celebrate, she wants to host a party to let the others know that, they have been successful in getting out of debt. And I'm thinking, like, you trying to prove a point to them, but isn't that what got you in trouble in the first place, Toya? Trying to show off for the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses. So instead of worrying about what the other people think, you need to be thinking about the hell you done lived in the past 2 years trying to get that debt paid off and make sure that you never ever get in that situation again. So then we move over to Simone, and it's the day of her oldest son, Myles' graduation from high school. And so we don't see them go to the graduation. It was like a little short scene where the boys are leaving to go to the ceremony, and then when we see them again, they're actually at a restaurant where they're having an after graduation celebratory dinner. And so the waitress comes over, and she's this young girl, and she got the blonde braids all the way down to her butt, and she was wearing like this body fitting like leggings and top, just everything all crunched up together. And so Myles was checking her out, and so she was moving all around. So when she was bending over getting stuff off the one table to put it on their table, the braids was falling all over her face. She got to pull the braids back. And I'm just like, girl, it's just too much. And so they looking at her and they looking at Myles' reaction. And then the girl was looking like, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? Like she was very cognizant of the camera being on her. So I don't know if she was a real waitress or if she was just a really bad actress. But that little Michael, was trying to tell Myles how to get his groove on, how to get his rap game on with the girl. But Myles, he was just so struck by the awe of her beauty and everything, he couldn't really get into it. And then at the end of their dinner, the girl came out with this big old piece of cake that she gave him and told him that, congratulations on your graduation. And so Simone and Cecil, they just look at it like, Lord have mercy. Simone and Cecil seem to be in a good place, and they just celebrated their 21st anniversary. So we get a behind the scenes moment where they actually went out to dinner, and he was reading a card to her, expressing his love and adoration and how happy he is that they're still together. And they just look so happy and so in love that I just cannot believe that months later they're headed to divorce court. And I just really hope that Simone did that as a spur of the moment, and hopefully after watching the season progress that she done kind of like step back for a minute and realize that throwing 21 years down the drain is a bit much, and that maybe her and Cecil's marriage can be saved. Because I don't want to see them break up. Like, of all the couples, I like them the most, and I just don't want to see them. I don't want to see any other couples break up. So then we move over to Contessa, and we had a little short scene with her. Thank God, because I'm about over Contessa. So it's our last day practicing medicine, and she's seeing one of her patients, and so the lady said she had headaches or something. She had been having these headaches, and I've had headaches before, and my doctor never did any of the things that Contessa was doing, but she was doing some kind of like checking the lady's body reflexes or something she was going on. Then she said they were going to do a CAT scan on the woman. She says, but I won't be here to get the results after you have the CAT scan, because today is my last day and I'm taking off time to be with my kids and watch my kids grow up. And the lady told her that, she was a registered nurse, and so she understood, but she didn't have the luxury of not working. She had to make it work. And I thought it was interesting that in the comment sections on Twitter, a lot of people were saying that they are happy that Contessa has the option where she doesn't have to work and she can be, a stay-at-home mom. And then the other half are like single mothers like myself, who are like, girl, we can't even empathize with you because we made it work. We had kids. Well, I know personally I had kids. My one daughter is a brainiac, and she's also an artist. And then my youngest daughter, she played tennis since she was 7 years old. And then you guys know my middle daughter, she has autism. So I didn't deprive my kids of anything by working a full-time job. So I don't understand what Contessa got going on that she can't handle both. And then I thought it was interesting because it looks like Contessa's office is in the same building as Jackie's office, or that's just a scene that we get. It's not really the same businesses, but I can't really figure out if Contessa is in private practice or if she works for somebody else. I'm kind of confused on that, because I'm sitting there saying to myself, so if you stop working, does that mean your staff lose their job? Like, what is that all about? But Contessa says she's going to stay home with them kids, and we're going to see how long that lasts, because I'm thinking it's going to last about 2 to 3 weeks, and she gonna be back to practicing medicine. Then we go over to Jackie's. So Jackie arrives home from work and immediately pulls out her laptop. And in my last recap, I talked about this scene because I couldn't remember if it was part of the show or if it was part of the previews for this week. So it was part of the previews for this week. So Curtis is standing there and he's looking at her, and then he had asked her did she want something to drink, so he went and made her some Crystal Light or something, because it came back in a water bottle, but it had color to it. So I'm thinking it was Crystal Light. And then he says, like, you've been home for 5 minutes. no, he said you walked in the door and you opened that laptop. And then she looked and she was like, oh, you're right. And she closes it down. And he says, I don't want us to fall back into our old patterns. He says, so can I just have like 5 minutes of your time? And so she was like, yes, you can. And then they decide to go for a walk. So they're out walking through the neighborhood. And then Jackie saw a dog. And I guess Jackie, like me, we on food with the animals. So she was ready to go back to the house. But they had like a really nice conversation, about their relationship, where they've been, where they're going. And then Jackie tried to slip in a little dig about him having the affair, but Curtis wasn't having it, so he quickly talked over that little comment that she made and kept it moving. And so it's really bothering me how, like, when Curtis was coming over to the house, how they would like hug like two siblings, greet each other who haven't seen each other. And when Jackie came home from work, Curtis gave her this little side hug, like the shoulder to shoulder hug. And I'm just like, are y'all serious? Y'all been married all these years and this is how y'all, like, are y'all still in the awkward phase of getting back together? Y'all not ready to just jump back into the situation? What is going on with this? So the bulk of the show was about the party that Toya and Eugene were throwing to celebrate, getting in the black with their tax situation. So we got red carpets, hookahs, signature drinks, fried food, and a full venue that they done rented out. And Toya admits that she blew the budget that Eugene had given her. And I'm just thinking, okay, y'all headed right back down that same slippery slope that got y'all where y'all were at. So Lord, what is Simone got on? Simone walked in and she had on this white dress, but then it looked like she took a oh my God, what do they call it? Some things that the women be wearing to try and cinch their body in, the waist trainers or whatever, but it looked like a full body waist trainer, and she had them put it on over her dress instead of under her dress. And I was just like, did Simone hurt herself? Like, did she have an accident and that really was a brace or something? I couldn't figure out what was going on, but Toya didn't call her out on it. Simone says that she's proud of Toya and Eugene and glad that they were able to pay off their debt, so she was very supportive, didn't have a problem with the party. So then Jackie and Curtis arrive, and so in Jackie's confessional, she says that she's not impressed at all, and it's typical of Toya to think that it's okay to have an extravagant party after paying off their debt. So then Contessa and Scott arrive, and Contessa, she judging because that's what she does. And so she pulls Simone to the side, nice Simone, if this isn't the dumbest thing she'd ever seen. And then Simone was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, they just got out of debt. Why would you go and spend all your money on this party trying to prove to other people that you did okay, that you have rebounded from the situation? Take that money and put that money aside so you don't have this issue again. So then this fool tells Simone that she brought a book for Eugene about using the N-word and about just like, you gonna come to their party, like you couldn't send that book to him in the mail or drop it off by the house, because don't they live in the same neighborhood? So she decides that she gonna bring this book to the party and give it to Eugene. And I'm like, girl, go have several seats, because it's really not that serious, and more important, it's not your problem. Because we know black folks been calling each other the N-word from the beginning of time. Like, it wasn't just the white folks calling us that and being intolerant. I don't do it. I don't call people the N-word. I'll say it. Now I'm going to be honest with you. When I see black people doing stupid stuff, like ignorant stuff, I will say the N-word. I really will. But I'm not going to call a person the N-word, like to your face or anything. Like if I'm sharing the story with somebody, then I'll be like, them N-words did blah, blah, blah. They need to go somewhere and sit down. But to be out in public and in a conversation, I would never use the word. And I just thought that Contessa was being, I don't know, I just felt like the women call each other bitches and carry on when they argue, and they call each other all kind of names. So what's the difference between them arguing with each other and calling each other names and Eugene coming in and using that word. Like, why was that word more offensive than any other word when black people have been arguing for the use of that word, saying that they are entitled to use the word? So I just thought that she was trying to take it somewhere that it didn't need to be, and it was really inappropriate of her, one, to buy Eugene that book, and two, to buy the book and think she was going to give it to him at the party. And all the ladies were sitting down together talking, and Eugene came over and he wanted to apologize to Heavenly, for causing a disruption at the party, and says that he hopes that she can forgive him. And then on the flip side, surprisingly, Heavenly apologized to Eugene for the way that she reacted and was like, we all make mistakes, but we can move forward from it. And she says that, oh, she was so proud of herself, patted herself on the back, that she was able to display kindness and forgiveness to another human being. So then Simone slips over next to Toya and tells Toya about the book and the fact that Contessa was getting ready to confront her husband. Give him that book. And Toya was like, let me pump the brakes right now on this nonsense. So she goes over and she tells Contessa, you're not giving my husband that book. I'm sorry, you're not messing up our party. And so before everybody arrived, when we were seeing all the stuff that Toya had for this party, we found out that she had hired an opera singer. And so the opera singer's job was, whenever she saw somebody arguing or tension or conflict about to begin, she was supposed to break out in song to distract everybody. So Toya and Contessa, they get to arguing about the book, and Contessa's like, I am going to give him the book because it was inappropriate for him to say that, and he needs to understand that he was out of line. And Toya was like, but you can give him that book some other time if that's what you want to do. So the ladies, are arguing, and the men on the other side of the room, and they sitting there like, I'm not going over there touching that with a 10-foot pole. Let them work it out. So then Mariah tells Toya to just apologize to Contessa. So to keep the peace, Toya apologized. But I was sitting there saying, why did Toya owe Contessa an apology for something that Eugene said? Like, that was so crazy to me that Toya was expected to apologize to Contessa when it wasn't even Contessa that was arguing. The argument was between Toya and Quad. So I was like, okay, y'all making up stuff now. Y'all need to fill this hour, so y'all just making up stuff. But Toya said, okay, I apologize. My husband shouldn't have said that. It was out of line. It was inappropriate. So then Toya goes to get the opera singer. So the opera singer come over and she's singing, and it was so stupid, to be honest with you. It was just stupid. So then finally, Quad and Dr. G arrived, and of course they were late, because the party was in full swing. So Quad comes in, giving one of her monologues, and she was basically saying that the reason they were late is because she got to be the husband and the wife in the marriage, and she got to deal with her husband and get him straight and check him on how he's supposed to behave. And she was just going on, and I was just like, oh my God, and how she's the only one trying to hold their marriage together. I was like, Quad, just shut up and sit down. So Jackie's trying to talk to Quad, and Quad is speaking death over her marriage, like it ain't gonna work. She done gave it all she have to give. And then Dr. G is over talking to Contessa, and he seems optimistic, like, okay, we just going through a rough patch. We gonna work it out, and everything is gonna be okay. Then we have a scene where the guys are smoking the hookah, because they had the hookahs out there. I forgot to. Did I mention that in the list of all the stuff that she had? But if I didn't, they had a hookah. And so Simone yells across the room, being ghetto fabulous, and tells Cecil that because he's smoking that hookah, that he ain't getting none tonight. And Cecil was looking at her like, well, you act like I was going to get something in the first place. Like, I ain't that crazy to believe that. But Simone was acting like she was over there smoking the hookah. So then Toya and Eugene get up, and they thank everybody for coming. And Dr. Eugene says that, he's a little lightheaded from hunger, because Toya ordered all that fried food, and he pretty much couldn't eat nothing that was on the buffet because it wasn't on his 500 calories a day diet. So then the ladies all gather, and Simone, thanks Toya for the party, and then shows the ladies her appreciation for them. So then they all decide to hold hands and gather in a circle, so they were one by one going around saying, what they appreciate about the other and why they're thankful that they're all friends despite, all that they go through and all the bickering and the fighting. So when they get to Quad said, well, I don't have nothing to say. So it was just like, girl, why? So then Toya was like, you don't have nothing to say. There's nothing good you can say about anybody in the group. So then she finally musters up a few words, but it was just so fake that it didn't even matter. And then all of a sudden, they look over at Jackie and realize that Jackie got a big old hickey on her shoulder. So I guess her and Curtis done moved from the sister-brother hug until they're actually acting like husband and wife, so she blushing and everything, because Curtis done been sucking on her. So then the men pretty much do the same thing as the women, where they're talking to each other and everything. And so I think the last scene was Quad and Dr. G. It's the following day, and Quad asks Dr. G, if they can talk about his behavior during the focus group. So then they both start to talk, and I don't know who started talking first, but Quad then talks to him like he's a child and tells him, okay, I'm not going to try and talk over you. I'll let you talk, and when you're done, then I'll say what I have to say. And Dr. G says, well, that's good, because that's how it's supposed to be in the conversation. While one person is talking, the other person is listening. So the two get to bickering, and Quad says maybe they should get a divorce. So Dr. G wants to know why she keeps bringing up divorce, but Quad claims that, he uses the word more than she uses the word. And so in their confessional, she asks him again, and so he's like, I don't know why you keep saying divorce, and that's not what I'm here for. So he jumps up and takes his mic off, and then he's trying to walk out of the room, but evidently he couldn't find the door to get out of the room for the confession. So I don't know where they was at, if it was a green screen or what was going on, but Dr. G seemed to have been having a problem getting out of the camera's view. And so Quad was like, okay, but you're on reality TV. What did you think it was about? And he was like, you're doing this for reality TV. You're like creating this scene and creating this drama, for the sake of reality. But this is my marriage. This is real, and this is not for reality TV. So she asks him, why did he agree to come on the show? And then he comes back over and tells her that he did it for her, and that, he didn't do it for their marriage to fall apart. And so I got to thinking, Quad must have had like a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. And her 5-year plan was to get, her notoriety and, to brand herself and get the talk show where she can, be successful in her own right. But her 10-year plan did not include Dr. G. That's the conclusion I done came to. And then they remind us that it's a big age difference. So Quad says she's 36 years old, which I thought she was older than that, because I thought she had a 40th birthday party like 2 years ago, and maybe that was her 35th birthday party. But anyway, Quad says she's 36, Dr. G is 50, and so she basically tells him that, let me go. So I can go find me another man who you be done wasted all my good years. And then Dr. G, I guess basically, like I said in the last episode, men can make babies for a long time, because I know a 70-year-old man that got his wife pregnant. So I don't know, maybe y'all need to part ways. I know I'm sick of Quad, and if that means that I can't see Dr. G no more, I'm okay with that. But I need Quad to go somewhere and sit down. And I try not to wish bad things on people, but Quad, she's like one of those people that if karma comes back and bite her in the butt, all you can say was she had it coming. So guys, it wasn't a very eventful season finale. It seemed like they had just the season had ran its course. They had nothing else to talk about, and the drama just really seemed manufactured. And it was a good season as far as delving into the relationships, but it kind of fizzled out at the end. And then they showed a repeat of Watch What Happens Live from a few weeks ago, and basically Andy said that Married to Medicine was the second most viewed show on Bravo, and so the season was a huge success. Now, the season might have been a huge success, but was it good enough to warrant a three-part reunion? I don't know why we got to sit through a three-part reunion when it probably could be wrapped up in one part, but um, I'll be here bringing you the recap when it airs, I think starting next week. So, guys, that was it. Let me know what you thought about the season finale of Married to Medicine. What did you think about Quad and Dr. G? And do you think that they can work their situation out, or will they get back together? And are you rooting for Simone and Cecil to work out their issues? Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye bye.